Hey y'all, welcome back to the Hat Creek Homestead. It is about 11:25 at night, and I got the grand idea that we should have blueberry and apple cinnamon muffins for breakfast in the morning. So we're gonna make these tonight, and I have my helper here with me, Miss Molly. And so what I've done is I have used this organic coconut flour. I finished off a bag we had opened already. And I put 3 cups of this and then 3 teaspoons of baking powder in with it. And now we are going to add some fresh blueberries to this. After we add our milk, these are the blueberries that we're using. They've been in our freezer. And so I'm going to make some muffins, and then maybe Sunday morning we'll have blueberry pancakes. So this calls for 1/2 cup of milk per 1.5 cups of mixture. So we're going to add an entire cup of milk. And you can mix that up.
Okay.
And I'm going to pour some blueberries into this. And this is about 2 cups of blueberries. So we're going to dump these blueberries.
Okay, out.
Are you stirring?
You can dump them so I can stir them.
Now we're going to stir that up real good.
I'm going to do this first. Yeah, you saw it. I said I did it.
Alright.
It looks pretty purple.
Does it?
Yeah, it looks pretty.
Alright. So here, I don't know if you can see good, this is our blueberry mix, and now I'm going to go
pretty purple.
put these in our muffin pan that I've sprayed down with spray coconut oil. And
the boss is up here.
it's approved. Is it good?
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
And the blueberries are not poisoned.
Nope, those aren't poison berries.
Yep.
Now we're going to just scoop this into the muffin pan. I sprayed it really good with the coconut spray. And we're just going to glob this in here. All these in our pan. And then we're going to bake these at 425 for probably, I'm going to say 8 to 10 minutes. On one end of this pan, I'm going to put the blueberry muffins, and the other end, I'm going to put the apple cinnamon muffins. And in the apple cinnamon muffins, we're going to put some of our homemade applesauce that we made in a previous video, and I'll leave a link to that or an iCard. And so this was supposed to make about 10 of these, and I may have overfilled a few. We may have to rob a little out of a few, because these are going to puff up nice and puffy. And if I fill the pan all the way to the top, it's going to, it won't. And we ended up with 13. Just about what I thought it would. Everyone but the 2 littles are gone this weekend. As you all know, we have yours, mine, and ours. And all of the yours and mine are at their others this weekend. And so we just have the 2 littles and me and Daddy. So there's no need to make a whole bunch. And so there are the blueberry ones. I have to forgive my grease splatters. I just sprayed the whole pan. I didn't do it real gentle. I just sprayed it. And so next we'll make the apple cinnamon one. So I guess the kids had eat up most of my applesauce that I was going to put in these apple cinnamon muffins. So I just made another quick batch until the steam's letting off. When it lets off, I'll mash it up and we'll add it to our muffin mix. Here's our homemade applesauce. I'll leave an iCard to our recipe, to the video that we did before when we made applesauce. I'm just gonna mash this up, and it'll thicken up a little bit once it sets. And then pieces like this, where obviously I missed, those come out easy when you're mashing, so it's not real critical that you get it. And we like our applesauce a little bit chunky, so I'm just gonna leave it like that. And I wish you guys could smell this.
It's always smell yummy.
Does it smell yummy?
Yeah, I want to eat right now.
Do you like Mommy's homemade applesauce?
Mm-hmm, it's the best.
Is it better than store-bought?
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, so our apple cinnamon muffins. Again, we used 3 cups of this organic coconut flour. Then I put in about a half cup of this organic cane sugar. And we added a teaspoon of cinnamon. And I'm going to add just a dash of this apple pie spice. Just whatever the flavor. And then I'm going to, instead of adding a full cup of milk, I'm going to add half a cup of applesauce and maybe a full cup of applesauce, and that's enough, sister.
Can I try that?
No, it's hot. She's trying to help me
There,
with the milk. All right, yeah, you can pour a half a cup of milk in,
There, can I mix?
and then you can mix that. And I'm just gonna take this, and I'm just gonna dip it down here into this applesauce, and it's really, really hot. So we're gonna get.
It is really yummy.
It's almost half a cup. I mean, it's a little over, but we're gonna put that in there. And our apple cinnamon.
It's so.
And now in this.
It smells so yummy though.
In the homemade applesauce, I put the apples, 2 cups of water. I put a full 2 cups of brown sugar and some apple pie spice in there and some cinnamon. And so this is going to be very apple cinnamony.
It's real. It smells yummy.
Does it smell good?
Yeah, it smells so yummy.
It's hard to stir.
Mm.
Can you hold the handle on the bowl so Mama can stir and film at the same time?
It's yummy.
Now I like to make the same recipe and add some oatmeal to it and just cook it as cookies. And my kids really like those apple oatmeal cookies.
It's so yummy.
So now we're going to go over
That's
and
the
put
best
it in the pan.
applesauce.
So now we're ready to put our apple cinnamon muffins in the pan. And again, I had sprayed this with the coconut oil. So we are just going to dab these in here, and we're going to fill them maybe half full. And this is supposed to make 10 muffins as well. I don't tend to use those cupcake liners. I think they're kind of a waste of money. I know you can get the silicone ones, but I haven't tried that yet. So we're preheating our oven to 425, and we're going to let these bake probably about 8 to 10 minutes for both. Little Miss keeps throwing her peace signs there. I don't know.
No, I was really pointing.
Oh, you're pointing at what that's all about. We may have some leftover batter for her to
Eat.
eat. She really likes to
Eat the batter.
lick the pan, and so
And lick the spoon or batter.
you like to lick the spoon. So I've heard a good mom will let you lick the lick the beaters, and a great mom will turn them off first. And so, but here we just do it. Today we did it the old-fashioned way, and it looks like she's gonna get to lick the spoon as soon as I put a little bit. You can't lick the spoon till Mom puts more in this one. It looks like this one's still kind of a little doughy there. We're going to mix it up. Is it good?
Let me have more of it.
You want more?
I'm gonna make less.
Hey, Molly. Molly. Is that good? So now we're just going to put our muffins in the oven. I'm going to put mine on the bottom rack for probably 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna move them up to the top rack, and it's at 425. Man, I guess I really need to clean that stove. I didn't realize it was so gross. And we're gonna set our timer for 5 minutes, and then we'll come back and we'll move them up onto the top rack if they're not finished already. This is a propane stove, and it cooks a lot faster than the other stove that we had previously. We have our muffins in the oven. I'm just going to jar up the rest of this applesauce, and I just ladle it in there like so.
It smells so yummy.
And I'm just going to put this in the refrigerator because it will not last very long at all. I think it was 3 pounds of apples. And as it sits, it will thicken up. It's still a little runny, but
it smells so yummy.
It smells so yummy.
I could eat the whole jar if I wanted to.
You can eat the whole jar. You might get a bellyache if you eat the whole jar, Molly.
But I don't care. It's too yummy. It smells yummy as well. It smells super yummy, like super.
And I'm not going down into the garage to get more flat, so I'm just going to take a piece of aluminum foil and put it in the ring and put this in the refrigerator. So I'm just going to do this a couple of times to make sure there's no bubbles in here. I don't really guess it matters because I'm not really canning it.
Sorry.
So I'm just going to take this piece of tin foil that I cut off and wrap it over like this, and then I'm just going to put my jar lid on. Like I said, this is just going to go in the refrigerator, and it probably won't last, I'm going to guess 2 or 3 days, if that long.
It smells so yummy. You should try this recipe at home.
So there's just a little bit of applesauce left,
She promised that I could have the rest of it.
And I told little miss she could have the rest when it cooled down. And so there's enough here to make her a nice little bowl of a midnight snack for applesauce. Alright, as you can see, it's been 5 minutes. Excuse my dirty stove and oven. I've been cooking off and on all day. And so now I'm going to reset this timer for 3 minutes. And I'm going to move these from the bottom rack up to the top rack and let them cook for 3 minutes. And then we will check them to see if they are finished. Move to the top, so we're just going to let them cook for 3 minutes and then we'll see if they're finished. I went off for 3 minutes and they're still not quite done, so I'm going to let them cook maybe another 3 minutes and then we'll check them. They're getting there, they're just not quite there yet. It appears that the apple ones are finished and the blueberry ones are not. So, I'm going to turn off our timer. We're going to pull this pan out. I'm going to take the apple ones out and then we'll put the blueberry ones back in. What I like to do is just kind of go around, and then you can just kind of scoop it out, and then I just set them in these little containers and then I put a lid on them. So as you can see, for the most part, don't lose my pan onto the floor. My helper has abandoned me. So, like I said earlier, I normally don't use muffin tins, the little things. I just use a butter knife. I go around the outside. If you spray your pan well, you're not going to need those pan liners. And I've used, in a pinch, I've used tin foil before. But we're just going to these are done. I just use my tongs and run around the outside. Then you can just pick them up and put them down into the bowl. They aren't sticking. The ones I've had so far are not sticking. You can just lift them up out of the pan. Sorry guys, I'm trying to hold the camera and keep the pan from sliding off into the floor and not destroy these muffins that are smoking hot all at the same time. So there those are the apple cinnamon ones. They're done. And now the way to check to see if your muffins are done is you stick a knife in the middle, and if it comes out doughy, then they're not done. So as you can see, these are definitely not done. Some of them are close, like this one's probably close and that one's close, but obviously they're not finished cooking. So we're going to put these back in the oven, and I'm going to let them cook probably another 5 minutes, and then I'm going to check on them, because you have to really watch muffins, because they will go from ooey gooey to burnt in the blink of an eye. So, okay, also we got this muffin straight out of the oven. I'm going to cut it in half. The best I can with one hand. Oh yeah, nice and done. And then I'm going to put some of this butter, homemade butter that we made, and I'll leave an iCard to that video. This is actually, we added some honey to this butter, so I'm going to put some honey butter on here. And then what we had left in the applesauce over there, I'm just going to dump some of this applesauce right here on top of this. And we're going to let little miss, now that muffin may be hot, but your applesauce is cooled off, so we're going to let you taste test that. Can you tell Mommy how that muffin, let's get this piece. Oh, that muffin's really hot. Let's wait a minute. That's really hot. There's a blow on it. How is that muffin with the applesauce and the honey butter?
Yummy.
Is it yummy? Goes out of the pan. We're going to put this lid on, this one, and then we're going to check our blueberry ones again to see if they're done. Because if you're not careful, you'll burn them. So we're going to clean off our knife. I've got a paper towel here. And we're just going to clean our knife off. And make sure it's pretty clean. And then we're just going to proceed with stabbing these to see if any have any gooey left. That was a blueberry, it wasn't. And I believe our blueberry ones are done. So our blueberry ones are done. I guess I'm trying to get ahead of myself. Normally I go around the pan with this knife and try to pry them loose a little bit to break it up, and just kind of bunch them like this and try to get them out of the pan a little better, because if you got fresh blueberries, you've got juices, and that's probably why it took these a little bit longer to cook, is because it had all that fresh blueberry in there. So if you'll just take your knife and go around, most of the time you shouldn't have any problems. So now let's see if we can slide those in there. Yeah, there we go. So there you have it, our homemade blueberry and apple cinnamon muffins made out of coconut flour. It's just a little bit healthier, I think. You could make these with almond flour, you could make these with regular flour. I was just using what I had, and so it's kind of hard to get out one-handed. Here's our finished product. We have our apple cinnamon muffins made with homemade applesauce. We have our homemade blueberry muffins made with fresh blueberries. We're gonna put the lid back on these, and then I'm just gonna set them up on the counter, and then in the morning when we get up, we will enjoy them with some fresh applesauce on these, and with the honey butter. This is all the honey butter I have left from the homemade butter that we made in a previous video, and I'll leave an iCard to that. It was just regular butter we made in that video, but I added some honey to this and whipped it, and just to make some honey butter. Now that we're done with our muffins and I have them over here put away, this is just a little tip or trick that kind of seems like it would be common sense, but a lot of us that have littles sometimes get busy and we get to running around. And so as soon as you are done with your hot pan, I always put mine back in the oven. Well, we don't have a dishwasher, and so my sink is full of dishes that I use to make this recipe. And so I always make sure that my oven is off and that I put my pan away where my littles can't get to it, because it can cause some pretty severe burns. And sometimes we just get busy as moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas and caregivers, and that's one thing that slips our mind, and the little one comes running through excited to have our yummy baked, and they bump up against it or they knock it off and it lands on them. And so that's just something that I thought I would share with y'all. Here are some pictures of our finished product. We just really would like to thank you for watching our video today. And if you'll scan that QR code, it will take you to our Facebook page and our Instagram page. If you haven't subscribed, please do so, like and share our video. And as always, have a blessed day from the Hat Creek Homestead.